All right. Where to begin? Where to begin with this podcast, guys? Welcome back in the Doop podcast. I'm Zero. First thing I want to say is Jay Sugarman needs to sell the damn team. Please. With that said, and we'll touch on that more, things have gone from bad to worse to dreadful at this club right now. I can't believe the downfall right now of this club. We've had several really impressive seasons over the past, several years. We've been getting by with homegrowns, small signings, and just a really tight-knit group of core players that have been performing above their, not only above their pay probably, but also above their skill level. Jim Curtin's been able to get the most out of them, but it's all catching up to us now. Our lack of top tier talent is just shooting us in the foot right now. I mean, I'm so overwhelmed with everything that's going on with this club right now that it's hard to even put all the pieces, lay them out and talk about each one. This is going to go all over the place, I think. We were talking about them losing 3 straight home games last episode. Well, guess what? They've now lost 5 home games, including the game yesterday to Miami, Inter Miami. So all the talk was, oh, Miami's missing Messi and Suarez, so they shouldn't win, right? Because they're missing Messi and Suarez. I mean, I got sick of hearing about that. Like, yeah, I get it. You're missing Messi and Suarez. Those are huge losses. But the Union were without their 2 top scorers, too. Carranza and Gazdag. Oh, by the way, our number 1 goalkeeper is also out still, Andre Blake. Oh, and our best central defender was out as well, Jack Elliott. Oh, and our number 8 was out, Jose Martinez. So I don't want to hear that, they're missing Messi and Suarez. We were missing like half our starting lineup. So that is a moot point when it comes to a reflection of the final score. You got to play with what you have, right? You got to play with what you have. Bottom line is, though, we lost. We lost 2-1 to Inter Miami. No Messi or Suarez. We lost at home again. But here's the real kicker. They were down 2 men. 2 men. They had 2 red cards. We couldn't find a way to pack on pressure up 2 men at home against a Messi-less Inter Miami. It's pathetic. We were up 2. At one point we were up 3 because they had a player off injured. And we couldn't even get anything. We were hitting in these hopeful crosses. Nobody was getting on the end. There was no thought process to any of it. It's just our forwards looked like they didn't know how to play together. Baribo and Donovan come off the bench and they really didn't make an impact. Baribo had 1 chance and he missed it. He has yet to score for the Union. I'm getting tired of it, bringing him in with no impact, honestly. I mean, this club is in such turmoil right now. We've been terrible in offense without Carranza. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Julian Carranza, our best forward, by the way. Surprise! He's being sold. He's gone. I think he played his last team for the club. What a nice mid-season surprise that is. It's like I wake up, I'm like, what's going on with Julian Carranza? Oh, he's been sold. Our best forward's been sold. That's great. That's great. That's really what we need right now in the midst of a team struggling like hell. A team that's been struggling to score goals consistently lately without him. That's... great job, ownership. I love it. It's just wonderful, right? You love to see this kind of news. It's become hysterical at this point. So he's gone. I mean, Jim Curtin was asked about it at the press conference yesterday, and all he said was he remains out or whatever. He's He's not playing. He just said he's not playing, which is code for he's not coming back to this club. He's been sold. I saw a report that he's been sold to Feyenoord in the Dutch league, so he'll be playing the Eredivisie. He's not playing for the Union anymore. It sucks. He's literally our best forward, one of our best players. He's perfect for this club. And I guarantee you, if the ownership even replaces him, there's no guarantee they will, they're so cheap. If they even replace him, it'll be with a player that's not equal or better quality. I can guarantee that. It's going to be less quality. Because they've been missing on a lot of their signings lately. Or lack thereof signings, too. Look at Baribo. I mean, him and Donovan are our forwards. There are impact guys coming off the bench. And neither one of them have scored a goal all season. Hal Baribo hasn't scored in his career with the Union yet. And he's a forward. I know he doesn't play that much. I get it. All right? He doesn't have great playing time. But when he has chances and opportunities, he never shines. And Donovan, too. I like Donovan's energy a lot. But right now, he's missed chances, too, this season. They're not scoring. You're a forward, you get judged on scoring goals. If you're not doing that when we need you to, then I don't know, like, how else are you going to contribute, you know? It's just so frustrating with this team. We had to start Raffanello yesterday, a guy who's barely played in his MLS career, because Gazdag is out with the Hungary national team. So he's going to be out for a while, away at the Euros. Andre Blake's still out. Damian Lowe has been out. No. Carranza's gone. Bedoya picked up an injury yesterday. He had to come off. Martinez is away with Venezuela. We have no depth to begin with. I mean, the club isn't signing anybody. You know, it would be nice players like Brandon Craig and Joaquin Torres, who, if you can believe it or not, are actually on the roster, but they're loaned away. That's right. We like to loan players away too. Not just sell them, but loan them. Because why have a bench at all? Why have depth at all? It would be really great to have Brandon Craig right now, because our center backs have been complete shit this season, especially Glesnes and Lowe. Elliott's been our best defender by a mile, and he hasn't even been perfect, but he's been good enough. Glesnes, it breaks my heart to see the way he's playing this season. He was a top defender in this league not even 2 years ago. He got injured. He had surgery. This season, he doesn't even look like a starter anymore. He needs to be on the bench. I said, I hate to say this, but he is not good anymore. He is getting burned, giving the ball away. He looks slow to react to many plays, counters and stuff. I don't know. He's got no confidence. I can tell. Like, I don't know what's going on. He shouldn't be starting every game. Like, he needs to sit on the bench, honestly. He is not a starter. I don't know what's going on, but he cannot. He's a liability out there at this point. But, like, we have to play him because we don't have any other center backs. Yesterday against Miami, Elliott's missing with a red card. Lowe's out. So, Glesnes has to play center back with Nathan Harriel, who, by the way, is not a center back and struggles whenever he goes there. Kind of. Well, I shouldn't say struggles, but he looks a little lost. He always, when he's not playing right back, Harriel looks a little lost. Which is fair because that's not his position. His position is right back. So it'd be nice to have Brandon Craig in a situation like that, wouldn't it? But no, they just loan him away. They loaned away Torres, who'd been a great replacement right now for Gazdag. The only players in the offseason that we've actually played, that we've signed, is Anderson, who only played a couple games. by the way. Marcus Anderson. A young kid, too. Inexperienced, so. You know it's bad when our most impactful signing in the offseason is our backup keeper. Yeah, you heard that right. Our most impactful signing over the past year is a backup keeper. And he's only playing because Blake's injured. Oliver Zemlo we're talking about here, who has had some really good games this season, so, but he's also had some really bad games. His positioning sometimes can be dreadful, and he definitely doesn't read the game as well as Andre Blake does. I mean, we're really missing Andre Blake. His leadership, his calmness back there, I think really hurts the defense, of course. Without him, he's basically been out all season. And Zemla's kind of been thrust in there to start every game. But he's had his moments. I'm not going to blame Zemla for all these goals we've been giving up. The defense has been absolute trash. You know, Kai Wagner's not been as good on the defensive end. In fact, he hasn't even been as good on the offensive end either, like we usually get from him. So it's very annoying. Sorry guys, I'm trying to kill a spider here that just decided to come say hello and listen to the Doop podcast. I think it got away. I've had many insect interruptions during streams. Never one during a podcast. This is interesting. Spider crawling down my wall here. I think it got away. This is a shame because I'm terrified of spiders. But he wanted to come listen. Even that spider is probably pissed about the Union right now, honestly. Can't say I blame him. I mean, it's just gotten so bad. Like, we're relying on these homegrowns to do the job, and you can't. It's just not fair. And they signed Calvin Sullivan. He hasn't played yet. They're hyping up this 14-year-old kid, which, you know what, I'm excited to see him play too, but we can't expect a 14-year-old kid to be, you know, the man to come in here and freaking turn this thing around. Like, that's, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, they're gonna be playing him sooner rather than later now because they need somebody to step in and do something. I mean, these games that we keep tying, these goals that we're giving up are disgusting. And this Miami game is just, it's the tipping point right now, right? It was the tipping point. When the final whistle blew, the fans let out a chorus of boos. I was booing them here at home too, believe me. And they deserve every bit of those boos. Jim Curtin said it himself. He knows they were going to get booed. They should be, right? They should be getting booed. But, like, the Union score in the first 3 minutes of the game, right? Ua puts in this goal after this nice ball from Glesnes. 1-0 Union. You're thinking, all right, here we go. This team's going to score a few goals. Miami doesn't have Messi or Suarez to lean on. Let's kill them off. Let's get a nice home win here and put this bad streak behind us. But no. They kept pressuring, getting these kind of like half chances. Couldn't score again. First half was like decent, but that's it. Second half, they completely just stopped playing their game. They sat back more. They stopped pressing. You know, they didn't look urgent. That's the thing, is urgency. The Union have no urgency at home right now. They just look so casual. Even when they're down a goal late in the game, they're just like, let me just lump a ball forward with no thought process. And half the time they overhit these crosses and they go out of bounds. And it's like so frustrating. It's like there's no urgency there. So they don't care. Like, I don't know what's going on. This is not the Union that we've watched the last couple years. Union of 2 years ago would have won this game 5-0. And that's not even exaggeration. They would have won 5-0 or even 6. Against lesser opponents at home, they were wiping them off the field, embarrassing them, making them wish they never came to Philly. because we played with urgency and purpose. Our defense was locked in for 90 minutes. Like, it just isn't happening now. Like, I don't know. Like, some of these players, like Glesnes, Wagner, Martinez, Ua, like, these guys aren't the same. They're not the same anymore. And we have a lot of injuries, I know. And it'd be nice, I said, it goes back to not having depth. Like, there's nobody on the bench we can bring in. It's like, we had how many players on the bench yesterday that had, like, no experience? We had Gabo and Vasquez, who's another young homegrown that we signed, was sitting on the bench because they had nobody else. It's just like, you see, it's so frustrating. You see these other teams going out, signing players. You hear all these rumors about who they're going to get. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, the Union should go out and sign a Messi or a Lewandowski or something. No. I'm not naive enough to think that they're going to be able to bring in a world-class star player. I wish. But the fact that they never even try to do that, that's what's frustrating. They don't try. They don't go out and spend big money on somebody to bring in and help the team anymore. It's like they went out and they got like Gazdag and Ua, and now they think, oh, there we go. That's all we need, right? And they're selling Gazdag. Ua's the most expensive signing in Union history, and he's barely even... I mean, there's clubs right now that are spending way more on several players. And look at Uwa's inconsistent too. He hasn't even been the best forward since he's coming. Right now, he is our best forward with Carranza gone. I mean, I hear Galaxy, who went out and signed Joseph Paintsil and Gabriel Peck in the offseason to add to Ricky Puig, which, you know, has completely transformed their team. And now there's rumors that they're going to get Marco Reus and Robert Lewandowski. My goodness. LAFC signed Lloris, and now they're getting Olivier Giroud. We all know what Inter Miami's picking up. Even, I'm not just saying the big clubs too. It's like teams like Cincinnati have been able to bring in talent. Look, New England has like a Carlos Heel. They're not even like a big club. You know, it's like smaller clubs too are trying to go. San Diego, brand new team. They signed Chucky Lozano as their first ever signing. The Union would never do that. The one time the Union tried to sign a big name on paper was Marco Fabian, and we all know how that turned out. He was not the right signing for this club. And that was during a time when the Union still weren't that good. And that's about it. Like, they don't sign these big names or anything, and I get it. We're a club that builds from within. But you need to spend money and bring in some quality players. You have to at this point. Get a forward in here who's going to make an impact off the bench. And now we need another starting forward. They can't be starting Quinn Sullivan up top right now. That's not his position. He's serviceable up there, but Quinn Sullivan's best when he's on the wings, running at defenders, running by defenders. Again, every time he gets on the ball, he's looking to take defenders on one-on-one. I love to see it. Even yesterday against Miami, he was trying to drive the team forward. He's been our best player driving the team forward all season, but we need him on the wing. We don't need him up top. Right now they're playing him up top because Carranza's out and he's gone. And who are you going to start? Donovan? Baribo? Guys that can't score? Sometimes Baribo looks lost out there running around. Donovan's energy is great. I love Donovan's energy. But his impact on scoring goals and making things happen is just not enough for me. You know? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love his effort out there. But we need end product. Yeah, you really need end product when it comes to being a forward. We can't rely on Ua to be the guy. And Bedoya could be out now. he looked pissed coming off the field yesterday because he's injured and he wants to be out there helping the team as much as he can, as always. He's had a nice season. What if he's out now for a while? McGlynn, who was awful yesterday against Miami. In fact, his giveaway led to the Miami's game-winning goal. Yeah, game-winning goal down 2 men in like the 92nd minute or something like that. Whatever it was. It was late in the game. We're up 2 men. McGlynn hits this forced pass, gives the ball away, gets burned, and they're off to the races 2-on-1. Glesnes tracking back. Nobody's sprinting back to catch. I think it was Kramashi who was making a run. But this Afonso kid comes in, burns Glesnes, and then burns Zemla in net. And I remember yelling, "You've got to be shitting me," in my living room here. I was watching with my girlfriend, and she couldn't believe it either. After that, I didn't even care what happened the rest of the game. I didn't even care if the Union came back to tie the game because it wouldn't have made a difference on how we felt. Because another tie would have been like, oh, yippee. They needed to win that freaking game. And they lost 2-1 to a 9-man Inter Miami team at home. Like, when they went up 2 men, the Union forgot how to play. They were playing like they were down 2 men. They weren't connecting passes. They were like overhitting all these crosses. They were just hitting hopeful balls into the box. Nobody was getting on the end of it because all the forwards were making like the same dumb run because they're all like not even on the same page. It was just disgusting to see. Miami were wasting time to a T, and the Union just looked lost and defeated. Like they didn't, like there's no urgency there, you know, to like, oh gosh, we gotta score here and win this game. Nope. It was just like another day at the park, Subaru Park. It is so frustrating as a fan, and the fans are. I mean, I've been seeing some of the comments and stuff. They've had it right now. People are calling Jim Curtin to be fired, which I don't think is the right move right now. We fired Jim Curtin. It's not going to make much of a difference. Because, like I said, you're not going to get another coach to come in here right now to get more out of these players than what Jim Curtin has over the past 6-7 years. So, whereas he needs to be better about his substitutions and maybe his tactical changes, yes. But he's only working with what he's been given, right? As a coach, I'm sure he's frustrated with the lack of money that this team spends on talent coming in, right? You know, he's got to start a player like Jeremy Raffanello because you don't have anybody else at that position. And I said, no offense to Jeremy Raffanello, like, he's just going out there trying the hardest he can, but he's a young player with any experience, being thrust into a position to try and win. And Raffanello was not good yesterday. He was not good at all. Gave the ball away so many times. He just looked outmatched out there, nervous or something. But again, it's like, what do you expect? Him to come in there and be like a world-class player? Because he's not. He's not yet. You know, he's barely experienced. So he did have a nice game earlier this season against Kansas City. He did. He played really well. So I was hoping for more of that, but it just wasn't there, you know? It's just, he's not ready to be an everyday player. And right now he might need to be with this team. So it's like, because that's what you have, you know? You don't have any other center back, so you got to play Nathan Harriel at center back. You don't have any other forwards you can rely on, so you got to throw Quinn Sullivan up top. And then you bring in Paribo and Donovan, who don't score. It's so frustrating. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know what they're doing at all. You know, they brought in Bueno for Bedoya yesterday. I'm sure Bueno is probably going to be starting now with Bedoya's out and Gosdog out and Martinez out. It's just, what the heck, you know? Leon Flock's been pretty good lately defensively. You know, he's been one of our better players right now. But, you know, he's not going to help out on offense, that's for sure. I mean, this team has so many problems. It's just defensively problems all over the field. Goalkeeping, inconsistency. Goal scoring, consistency. Impact off the bench, there's nothing. It's just, I don't know. We're 4-5-8 on the season. 4 wins, 5 losses, 8 draws, a lot of ties. But all 5 of those losses are at home. That's what pisses me off. This is a team that only lost like 4 games at home over like years. Years. And we've lost 5 in our past 7 home games this season. How do you explain this? Like, Subaru Park was a fortress. Like, people would come in there and they would get beat down. You'd be lucky if you got a tie against us. Like, usually playing at home was almost a guaranteed 3 points for this club for a few seasons. It was on road where we kind of struggled. I mean, we've been good on the road this season. I don't understand that. We haven't lost on the road. But at home, we're just like so complacent or something. Like, we expect to win without having to do the job. I don't know. I can't explain it, guys. I cannot explain what's going on. Fans are booing. You know, ticket sales are gonna go down, I think. This is a club where if they're not doing good, they're not gonna sell out games. Because there's other teams in Philadelphia that are way more popular. The Phillies, the Eagles, the Sixers, and the Flyers. Although I'd say almost more people are interested in the Union these days than the Flyers, but it is just absolutely heartbreaking with this club right now. Jay Sugarman, majority owner, needs to freaking sell the team. He doesn't care about the quality, the product. All he cares about is the bottom line of money. He sells a player, he's just lining his pockets up with some more gold. Probably buying another yacht or buying another freaking Mercedes Benz or going on another vacation while the Union and the fans continue to struggle. He's banking all this money. He loves it. Oh, he sold Carranza now. Awesome. He probably can't wait to sell Kevin Sullivan. He's probably hoping Jack McGlynn gets picked up by a European club too so they can sell him. They sold Brendan Aronson, Paxton Aronson, Mark McKenzie, all these guys to Europe. They're like, I bet they can't wait to sell someone. He's probably hoping Quinn Sullivan gets sold too. They're probably listening to offers already. Meanwhile, they might go out and sell a player for, they might go buy a player for real cheap, you know. They'll find some other guy that they scouted who's not a household name, bring him in and expect him to be, oh, you know, this is it. This is our signing. And, like, it might not even be the right player, you know. You got to bring the right players in, too. You can't just sign people to sign people. You got to have thought to it and people who fit the system in positions that we need, you know. Like right now, we need another center back. We need a quality starting caliber center back because Glesnes ain't cutting it. Lowe ain't cutting it. We need to light a fire under those guys. We also need a quality attacking mid number 10, especially with Gazdag out. Somebody who can create something. We need another striker. A great physical goal scorer like a Carranza, right? We need somebody to replace him who's going to play very similar to his style and be as effective, which I doubt will happen, but I mean, what else? a backup left back would be nice too. We don't even have that with Matt Real. Oh yeah, Matt Real, remember him too? By the way, he's also loaned out. The Union just love to loan and sell players without bringing people in, just to lessen the roster even more. We literally don't even have a backup left back for Kai Wagner. Unless, like, I don't know, that Makayana player from South Africa. I'm sure I butchered his name. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, honestly. But the kid from South Africa who's on the bench, who's never played a game, mind you. I think he might be a left back, but I'm not sure. Maybe right back. I don't know. But he's never played. He sits on the bench most games, but he doesn't play. That's basically what our bench is. Like, guys that are inexperienced. The only guys that come off the bench and play are like Donovan. And maybe maybe Bueno or Bizo. And there's just no impact coming off the bench. No play. There's no Corey Burke. You know, we really miss Corey Burke. Gosh, he was the guy off the bench. You know, he would come in and cause headaches for opposing defenders. We don't have that anymore, man. If we had a player like Corey Burke still, it'd be such a luxury. Ugh. But of course, they got rid of him too. I don't know. Like, there's just so much wrong with this club right now. I haven't been this distraught over the Union in like years. Like, it's gotten this bad. Like, I can't really see a way out of this right now. Unless the team gets completely healthy and we bring in some really good quality signings. But I doubt that's going to happen. We've had so many injuries. We have, like I said, we have players missing away on international duty. And this ownership sucks. They don't want to bring in anybody. They should have signed players. Like, I don't know, like this summer transfer window, they better bring in several players. One decently big name. Something. Keep Curtin as a coach. Maybe get a little bit healthier. Ride this thing out. Hopefully you can turn the season around. We're still in a playoff spot because it's a very generous league in terms of making the playoffs. So we can still kind of make the playoffs and see what happens if we can get like a good club together. But our chances of like getting like in the top 4 or something in the East, hosting a playoff game, that's gone. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, at this point, we need to just try and make the playoffs. We need to try and make the playoffs. I mean, and it shouldn't be that way. I mean, this club, I said, we are a club that's been around for about 15 years now. It's so frustrating to see teams that have only been in the league for a couple years move light years beyond us in such a short amount of time when we're just standing still or going backwards. Teams like Cincinnati, Inter Miami, NYC. Who else? Over in the LAFC. You know, these teams that are new clubs come into the league way ahead of us in terms of quality, trophies, success. This is like, how are we playing catch up? We should be ahead of these clubs at this point. They just don't get it. The Union just don't understand. Like, I get we want to build with homegrowns, but you can't solely rely on that and expect to win and be the best team. I said, we've been lucky that we've gotten the most out of our talent over the past 5-6 years with Jim Curtin. We're lucky. We shouldn't have been as good as we've been, honestly. We shouldn't have been. But something clicked and the players were performing way above, like I said, their pay grade. And Jim Curtin has gotten the most out of his players. That's what a good coach does. But it's all catching up to us now. It's all catching up to us now. So I don't know. I don't know with this club. Oh, I'm just... I could go on and on, guys. You know, can you tell I'm passionate about this? I just want my club to, like, show that they care, you know? The ownership doesn't, though. Jay Sugarman, out. Get out of here. Sell the club, get out of town. We don't want to see your face around here no more. Sell this team to owners who will actually care and spend money. It's ridiculous. Are they going to wake up now because things are so bad at this club? And we just sold our best forward. I don't know. I don't know. And it's not going to be easy. Our next game's against FC Cincinnati. That's not going to be an easy one. We know that. It's probably another loss right there. It's granted it's in Ohio and not at home. Thank God. But they've been like a boogie club to us lately. So Pat Noonan, former Union assistant coach, head coach there now. Yeah, they're spending money on players. They got no problem spending money on players. They're a brand new club. Let's go spend some money. They got Yaya Kubo. They got Lucho Acosta. They go out and get Miles Robinson. Matt Miazga. I mean, they had no problem. They had brought in who else did they get? They got somebody else too. So they've had no problem bringing in big signings to their club. They're a new team too, a couple years old. Already light years ahead of the Union. It's unbelievable. Meanwhile, who are the Union signing? Backup goalkeeper Oliver Zemla. All right, backup keeper. So exciting. Who again has been our most impactful player as far as a new signing goes over the last year. It's great, huh? That's what you like to hear. I love this club. But they don't make it easy, do they? They don't make it easy. They don't make it easy. Let's hope the next time I do one of these, we got good things to say. Hopefully this club turns it around. And then I'll have a lot of good things to say. But this was a very depressing episode. But I gotta be honest, you know? It's the state of this club right now. I'm not gonna sit here and be all happy-go-lucky. Oh, it's alright, you know, this club's gonna turn around. They'll be fine. Like, no. They need some changes and they need them now. Well, like, they need them like yesterday. Let's hope that they can turn this thing around and continue building for the future. Because otherwise, it's gonna get even uglier. We all know how us Philly fans can get. They're going to get booed even worse and worse and worse. And they're going to storm the castle at some point. Jay Sugarman's office. And force him to sell this club. And I don't want them to fire Jim Curtin. Let me get that straight. I know a lot of people are saying that. If they fire Jim Curtin, listen, it's a scapegoat at this point. It's just a scapegoat. If the ownership fires Jim Curtin, they're only saving their own asses. Or trying to. Covering it up. That'd be a cruel, cruel thing to do to a guy who's been here for 10 years in Jim Curtin. Fire him in the middle of a season because your incompetence as owners, has let the team down. Not only now, but for years. it would be an absolute scapegoat, and it would piss me the hell off. This is not Jim Curtin's fault. I mean, part of the performances, yeah, can be put on him. I'll give him that. He hasn't been perfect, but the overall deeper issues, it's not on Jim Curtin. This is on ownership. Yes, some of the performances you can blame Curtin, you can blame the players, yeah, but it all starts with ownership. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I got to say now, guys. I'm going to go try and enjoy the rest of my day. I hope you guys do too. Finish my coffee. Maybe try to find that spider that was lurking around my room and get rid of it. But I appreciate those listening to the Doop podcast here. Those that do tune in. Honestly, it does mean a lot to me because I know this isn't something that is very popular on my channel, or something, people that don't even care about this, because again, I never know how many Union fans or soccer fans this even reaches, but it's nice to hear a comment or two on here sometimes. I know Craig, who, if you're listening to this, thank you for commenting on one of my recent Duke podcasts. I do appreciate that. He is a Tottenham fan who can share in frustration as well. So here's to you, my friend. Sip of the coffee. And others listening, Union fans, please, please, please leave some comments in there. Let me know what you're thinking if you actually listen to this, because I don't know that anybody does. But I will keep doing these because I enjoy doing this. It's therapeutic for myself to talk about the Union. I'm a passionate person when it comes to my Philly sports, especially the Union. So I enjoy doing these, and they're going to keep popping up on the channel, guys. If you're not into them, it's completely fine. My gaming content's always going to be there. My music stuff's always going to be there. So, but things like this are stuff that I do because it's passion projects of mine. And I love sharing all my passions with you guys. But take care. Thanks for listening. Till next time, 0 is the number.